Hey everyone, it's Joanne Molinaro and another quickie today of 3 of my favorite ways to prepare some simple, delicious toast. Let's get started. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, I get a lot of requests for advice now that I started doing my anti-advice series. And one of the requests that I have received most often is how to get over that friend who cuts you off. I have personally experienced this. Probably everyone has had that one friend who purported to be their best friend forever, their BFF. And then one day that BFF just decides, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And how do you recover from that? And how do you cope with that level of sort of unanticipated rejection? I talked about this a little bit in one of my shorts, my friend Sally, who used to go hot and cold on me all the time. And there are 2 things that I really wanted to impart in relation to this request for advice. Number 1, no 2 friendships are ever going to look the same. So the error when recovering from this sort of breakup, if you will, is thinking that you're going to recreate the friendship that you've now lost. That is not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. There are as many different kinds of friendships as there are people out there, and the aim shouldn't be to replicate what you've lost, but to create something that is in fact more sustainable, more fulfilling, and more worthy of your time, investment, and energy. The second thing that I would say is even more important, which is it's not your fault. The one thing that I learned from my own experience was that the reason Sally kept going hot and cold on me wasn't because I was a bad friend or I was a bad person or something that really even related to me. And it's very hard to see that because, of course, losing a friend and being cut off in that way is intensely personal. It feels horrible. Rejection is never pleasant. But what I ultimately discovered was that Sally was dealing with a number of attachment issues. She had been abandoned by her biological father. Her mother was a single mom who wasn't around as much as my own parents were. And ultimately, what I developed was a sense of compassion for her, trying to understand, all right, well, she's got some issues. But the key here is not to internalize those issues. One thing I've learned as a lawyer is that I can only be effective as a good lawyer if I don't take on the problems of my clients. That is really tricky to do when you care for another person. But if that person has so many personal issues preventing them from being a good friend, the best thing you can do for yourself is to remember that her problems or their problems can and should remain theirs and do not need to become your own. And in that way, you can separate the rejection from who you are as a person and ultimately find the strength to move on and find friendships that are worth investing in. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quickie video of my 3 toasts and advice on dealing with cut off friendships. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future Korean vegan videos. Have a lovely day.